Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight to kick off our student empowerment series. Beth and I are really excited for this new venture we have created in bringing in our student voice to help boost our students' motivation and empowerment. My name is Nicole McCoy. For those that haven't met me yet, I'm the virtual campus director here at Post University. And I am joined this evening by Beth Renko, one of our first-year student success advisors and a member of our workshop committee. So if you've attended any of our academic workshops, you probably recognize that voice and are already familiar with Beth. She's fantastic. I am also so incredibly proud to introduce our guest speaker for this evening, post-university alumni and class of 2025 valedictorian Vernessa Beharry. We are so happy to have Vernessa with us this evening to share her experience and insight as a post-university student. Before we get started this evening, I do just want to mention, please keep in mind that we do mute all of our participants during the duration of the presentation, just to ensure that we don't have any noise interference in the background or disruption to our presenters this evening. However, we do love questions and feedback, so please feel free to pop it in that chat box on the side of your screen. I'll be monitoring that this evening, and we can share those sentiments and questions with Beth and Vernessa at the conclusion of our presentation. So without further ado, I don't want to waste any more of our time this evening. I'm going to hand the floor over to Beth to get us started.
Perfect. And thank you so much, Nicole. Hello, everyone. Again, I couldn't keep my mouth shut throughout the waiting time because I have been so excited for this workshop. I think that this is hopefully going to be one of a concurring series who will just continue reminding students why they're on this journey. I want to remind everybody, considering that I work for a university, I understand the struggles, the trials and tribulations all students have to go through. I've heard it all. I've experienced some when I was going through my own educational journey. And we think that it would be really valuable for everybody to understand what your struggles are for, why you are going through all the highs and the lows when you're going through your journey. That being said, I do just want to quickly make a little caveat. I ask that if we are asking questions to Vernessa throughout this session, we're going to ask in the chat. I want to make sure that when we do ask questions, we aren't doing anything that is potentially may not be in Vernessa's wheelhouse. I want to make sure that we're respecting what would be more so an academic advising question comparatively to what we can ask an alumni. So again, I ask that if you have a question, drop it in the chat. Nicole is going to go over questions at the end, and anything that doesn't get asked, don't take offense. We're not trying to ignore you. I am going to include all of the post-university resources, including our academic advising line, where realistically that's probably going to be the best place for you to connect. So again, we will make sure that any question that is appropriate for tonight, we get answered. Otherwise, again, I want to encourage everybody, academic advisors like myself are here to support you. I know not really tonight, but starting tomorrow at 10 a.m., we are so ready to take your call. So with that being said, I am going to move into very exciting, our first student interview with, again, our wonderful, wonderful girl, Vernessa. Okay, so I'm going to start off with our first question. Please just note every question I ask, I'm going to include just a written form of it so everybody can kind of follow along with the question. If you forgot where the question started, you will be able to read what it is. But otherwise, Vernessa, I'm going to officially ask you, what was your original motivation when starting school, and what was your ending motivation when you graduated? Were they the same? Did they change throughout time? Where were you at when you started, and where were you at when you finished your degree?
Hi, everyone. So to answer the first question, so even though I graduated with my first degree, I'm still a current student at Post because I am in the master's program. I'm doing my MPA, so I think I should make that known. So it still feel like I haven't left Post. So when I started school initially for my bachelor's, I did a bachelor's in criminal justice with a concentration in legal studies. My original motivation was simple. I wanted to earn a college degree and improve my future, open greater job prospects for me. So that's what I started when little 21-year-old Vernessa started in 2021. However, 4 years went by, and now I'm all grown up a little bit more, that motivation transformed into something deeper. I wanted to make a difference in the world through my confidence and my kindness. I always think to myself that if I could touch one person by making them smile or feel better about themselves, I have fulfilled my purpose when the day comes, or even as I get older and in my career. Therefore, being a criminal justice major, learning about the justice system, the legal system, all the issues and challenges that exist, that is where my desire came to make a difference in the world, you know? And typically, my education rather just shifted from being a credential, like, oh, okay, yes, I have a bachelor's degree. It became now as a platform for me to expand my empowerment, my service, my compassion to other human beings. Because not everyone will have the same experiences as myself. Likewise, vice versa. So therefore, if I can make that difference with one person, then I've accomplished that goal. So while graduating, yes, it's wonderful to graduate and it's a great achievement. For me, it was more than just the achievement and all the titles and accolades that I've gotten throughout my years at Post. It was just being committed to uplifting others through sharing my knowledge and being empathetic throughout my whole journey and even up until today.
I absolutely love that. I do want to ask a kind of follow-up question, if you will. When you were navigating this kind of shift of mentality where you were like, I just want to support one person. If I can try and do that when I can. Again, I don't want to say one person a day or one person a year or whatever it might be, but when I know I can impact a person. When you navigated that thought, did you kind of gear into a specific like career path, or is it however I can when I leave Post, again, I respect that you're currently in your master's
Mhm.
program so that you are expanding your education and your knowledge
Yes.
so you can hopefully have a wider spread impact. Were you looking at that specifically as, hey, I know that with this degree, I can specifically help people potentially in the law enforcement field, or like again, like corrections, psychology around it, anything around that field, or were you like, this is I know that with my education, with my understanding a little bit more of the world, students around me, it just became I know I can help a person wherever I may be. Is it more specified to your career path, or is it just a general motif that developed as you continued through school?
I would say it's a general motif that developed because I've been privileged to meet even though being an online student, the great thing that I love about posts is that I've been privileged to meet people from all different walks of life, all different age groups, different parts of the world, different states, and they have had an impact on me, given me different perspectives, worldviews, things like that. So I've been able to widen my perspective as well. So I think like they made me feel good or they made me feel seen. So if they have done that, I could just pay it forward and do it for someone else, regardless of if they're a criminal justice major or legal studies, or maybe not even anything in the criminal legal studies field.
Amazing. I love that. So for everybody who is conceptualizing questions they want to drop, I'm going to just let you know I'm moving into the next question. So anybody who wants to drop questions, feel free to drop it. However, Vanessa, I am going to move to our next question. So during your first year, again, I happen to be a little biased. I am a first year academic advisor. So during your first year, what was your biggest challenge academically speaking? I respect that a lot of things could have happened personally. I don't want to get into that. I want to know where you potentially had to overcome some hurdles that made you feel uncomfortable. So, from some examples, did you overcome any technical difficulties? A lot of students have to navigate Blackboard for the first time, or the student portal. Their student email even could potentially cause hurdles. So I'll start with that question. Did you overcome any technical issues or any just of these beginning level, like, oh, I'm not 100% sure? Did you experience anything like that?
My number one challenge was
Okay.
APA writing, APA citations, because because a little I don't know how much of an introduction you had before about me, but I didn't grow up in the United States. I grew up in the Caribbean. the Caribbean island of Trinidad and Tobago, and that the education system that is followed there is the British system. So the things that you all learn here and the things I learned in high school, that my foundation was totally different. So APA writing, I know is challenging for everyone, but I would say for me it was double challenging because while working on APA and understanding APA writing, I also had to learn American English that goes with it because I'm a British English speaker. So it's fun when you don't have when you have to take out the letter U from the word color and favorite. It's great. It still looks wrong to me. What is the correct way now, right? That I've learned in the 4 years at Post so far. So APA style writing was a challenge. And basically, how I overcome this challenge was thankfully that Post offers great resources. So number one, Center of Academic Resource. Academic services, sorry. I scheduled one-on-one services with them every single week, sometimes even more than once a week. I think that maybe they got a little tired seeing my face and hearing my voice because I was just, I'm a very meticulous, detail oriented student. I don't settle for anything less than perfect. So I'm grateful that Post had this has cast, and that's what I used and helped me that today now I could write a research paper following APA style formatting, and I don't get any points deducted on it at all. So that was my biggest hurdle throughout, but more so in my first year.
Perfect. I do want to say a few things. First of all, I'm sorry us Americans know when or when not to use and waste a U. Not every word needs one. Sorry, my dear. I didn't get that background, so all of my sweet, sweet British students, if I'm insulting you, I apologize. I digress. I also want to communicate this. Everybody in this room, this quote unquote room, I hope everybody kind of takes a collective breath out. Even the valedictorian just communicated. APA was not the easiest thing to address. Again, it is a brand new writing style that everybody has to go through. Unfortunately, people who tell me that they experienced it in high school, a lot of them didn't. A lot of them think they did, but it's not the way that college experience or expects it. So, Vernessa, thank you so much for being honest with that and for communicating that CAST was helpful. I do have a specific question. Since you were going back so many times, did you feel like you had the support you needed when utilizing CAS? So when you were connecting with the smaller questions and the bigger questions, because I respect maybe they could have been a little bit more attuned to those bigger questions, but did you feel like even with smaller questions, you were getting that general support in the way that you needed?
I got this support with the smallest word that I thought was wrong to the biggest formatting issue with if I should put the citation at the beginning of the paragraph or maybe move it lower down. I've had someone at CAS hold my hand basically and carry me through those classes that felt really hard, especially where English was really required a lot. Especially I'm talking about classes like the English classes you take, especially in the first year, and the literature classes, that kind of stuff. That you really have to be on point.
Perfect. Thank you. So everyone, again, coming for, and Vernessa, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to keep throwing your title out there. But again, the number one student for her graduating year, she had the highest GPA. She hit all of the marks. Went through very similar potential hurdles that you're going through, where again, APA does not come naturally to anybody. They don't prep us for it. Lorsh knows I was in my tutoring center when I was going through it, but I didn't go to post. I can't express your experience. Vernessa can confidently say, not bias. The tutoring center is here to help. So just as a reminder for everyone, when your academic advisor is offering that, the minute you feel like that little wiggle, I want you to connect with them. Again, the smallest questions to the biggest questions can be answered, and they're going to be answered with kindness. So I want to make sure nobody feels embarrassed. Again, the best student went to the tutoring center consistently. And do you want to know why she was the best student? Because she didn't question when she didn't know. She knew she didn't know, and she went to find help. Find your help.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Do not be afraid to ask for help. We are so here for that. Thank you, Vanessa. Okay, so everyone, just to prepare everyone, we are moving to the next question. So if anybody has any follow-up questions to that, again, drop them in the chat. But Vernessa, we will move to the next question. So we love the fact that post-university makes sure that we follow all requirements to be accredited. And so I know that many students understand that that also includes having to take your general education classes, which I know aren't the most exciting classes. However, you get to take major classes, which hopefully connect to what you're looking to do by the time you graduate. So how did your major classes connect with your future career goals? And how did you see them relate to what you wanted to do as you were taking them? So were there things you were reading or points that you were connecting to what you would hopefully move forward into once you graduated?
So my ultimate career goal after I finish my master's, and I hope to get my PhD also. But after my master's, to enter into working field, I want to be a policy analyst for the federal government or a federal agency, especially focusing, since I'm a criminal justice major, criminal justice, legal studies, that field of government policy I want to focus on. So, in my bachelor's degree, I did many criminal justice classes, learned various criminal theories, policies that exist, see how marginalized communities are affected. Thanks, William. And seeing those policies and actually like reading live cases or live issues that are taking place, because currently the world that we live in is very politically charged all over the world, not only in the US. So learning all these various theories and seeing cases that went on way back then and even presently, I've been able to see, okay, this is what was done, but this is what I think should be done now. So learning having learned the history and now seeing what the present climate is, I'm now able to understand how institutions make their decisions, what judges use to set their precedent, things like that. So that's basically how I've been able to relate it to what I want. Even diving deeper now into my master's degree, I'm now learning how policies are made, how ethics affect what is considered right, wrong, what is the justification for that, the validation. So it's really showing me, okay, this is how someone thinks. It may not be right or wrong as to what I may think, but I'm learning and getting a wider worldview. So when I go into that workplace in a short time, I'll be able to bring a fresher perspective than what was probably carried about 10 years ago and 10 years forward.
I absolutely love that. And I really do hope that everybody respects the fact that, and this is an expectation across all education. If there is every point where your education is stagnant, except for with major theories, I will be honest, psychology, we still we still study Freud. My science people, we're going to still respect the Big Bang Theory or string theory or whatever the heck you're doing. So theories will be a little different. But I do hope that everybody respects that at the end of the day, we want to make sure we are as on top of the things we're learning about, because Vernessa is absolutely correct. We live in an ever-changing world, and right now it looks one way, but by the way, when you graduate, it may start veering a different way. It may look a little different. And we want to make sure that you feel confident to bring your voice, your again, your presence. I don't want to say your body. I want to say your presence into the space that you want to come to, and be ready to take charge. Because again, said in the nicest way, I'm not spending my Friday night to just chit chat with and shoot the breeze. I want to make sure that we're empowering you guys to understand the greatness that you can bring to the table. It isn't just, oh, I studied some classes and I read some books and I guess I understand. It's, these are the things I can actually comprehend and then bring to the table when push comes to shove. So Vanessa, I love the fact that you're like, no, I don't feel like I'm stuck in the past. I feel like I'm ready to bring a new voice, my voice, into the conversation. And when I do, I feel prepared. So again, if anybody ever feels like they're not at that point, do not sit on your hands. I promise you, any academic advisor, we want to direct you in the right way, even if that's connecting with your professor. And if you need to connect with your professor and say, hey, I'm going to be honest. I've been doing my work. I have a great grade in your class, but I want to challenge you. I need to have more of a conversation with you. I'm not fully grasping this concept. Do it. Have that conversation. So, Vanessa, I'm going to ask, did you ever experience a time where you ended up having a conversation with your professor, whether to get more information, whether to kind of challenge a thought you or your professor had, to make yourself that more well-rounded student, to make yourself fully understand the concept you were learning in class?
Yes, so I've had a few professors that have challenged their thinking in terms of what they think is considered to be right, even though we learned in our resources and that those classes as what's considered right or wrong. But given again our evolving nature of the world, as someone who is coming in fresh and like have had no prior foundation, as opposed to these professors who have much learned more than me and have more years of experience, I have had conversations with them, challenging them, thinking about, okay, maybe if we watch a situation from this angle, maybe if we include this. And then some of them was like, well, I've never thought about it that way. Or, I've seen comments like that, especially in a discussion board replies and posts and that kind of stuff when we would interact.
Amazing. So again, everybody, I want you to think about that. We are all humans. I don't care if your professor is your professor. I respect that some of them have been teaching for years. Some of them may be more new. However, we are all humans. You are going to be doing your own individual research. You are going to be learning things from the reading and resources, but I always want you to feel encouraged. I always want you to feel empowered to connect with your professor, challenge thoughts, ask about the information you have learned about outside of class, because we want to make sure you're leaving as prepared as possible. That is the goal. College doesn't just teach you things from a textbook. College is supposed to prepare you for the next steps. Again, this is just one step of your full journey. We get that. We know, again, at some point, Vanessa, I respect that you have extended that journey a little bit. But again, at some point, Vanessa graduates and then she goes on to her PhD. But after her PhD, I mean, no offense, there's no double PhD like program. You have to start all over again and start a whole new PhD
Second
program.
master's degree.
To be
Maybe
fair,
if
a
I'm
second
so
master, that's super fair. But at the end of the day, the journey at some point moves forward. And we want to make sure that you get to confidently develop your voice, but you're also as prepared as possible. And that's understanding the most up to date information. So beautiful. Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing. And we're going to move to our final question. And then, as long as I can get my computer to cooperate, I do have a video to end with, but we will end on any questions that Nicole has seen in the chat that are worth asking Vanessa. I want to make sure that we are asking appropriate questions. And then from there, we'll probably call it a night. Again, if we don't make it to the whole hour, I would love to give you some time back. So, final question for the evening, Vanessa. If you could give yourself any advice during your first year self, I'll even extend this, during any time of your college career, now that you can kind of look back, let me rephrase, during your undergraduate career, because you're still in college, um, what advice would you give yourself if it could be your first term, during your first year, during your senior year? What would you tell yourself, and why would you tell yourself that?
I so the advice that I would give myself, I would tell myself that I belong here and that I have everything that I need to succeed. In my first year, imposter syndrome and self-doubt, which self-doubt still has a place at times, but imposter syndrome and self-doubt were very much real during my first year, especially, coming from a different country, settling now in the United States, learning a whole new system. It made me always wonder at times if I really do belong here, even though I was like born here, right? I'm a US citizen, but I didn't grow up here. So sometimes I always feel like, maybe I'm a little bit out of place. And I would tell myself to trust my instincts, lean into my support systems, which I have made some amazing friends here at Post and some wonderful people that I can't live without basically now. And I will also hold the thought of never letting the fear of failure hold me back. Viewing every challenge, every hard class, every issue that seems like a mountain use it as an opportunity to grow and, expand. I would also tell myself that I'm capable and I'm resilient and I'm worthy of getting this degree.
So I hope everybody right now is listening to this and internalizing this. You belong here. You are worthy of this degree. You can overcome the hurdles. You can overcome the challenges. Every hard class is worth it. Because at the end of the day, there is a goal that you are achieving. Vanessa, I love this answer. I don't even need to expand on it. I just need to ask you anymore. I just need to directly say what Vanessa has accomplished is something that every single student here can accomplish. No ifs, ands, or buts. I wholeheartedly believe that you have made it past the hardest part, which is taking the first step. There are so many reasons why people hold off taking that first step. And you already did it. You ripped the Band-Aid off. You did it, which means every single step moving forward is just another step of the journey. It's left foot, right foot, next foot in front of the other. Vernessa has explained to us tonight. The minute the going went tough, the minute she felt slightly uncomfortable, a little discomfort monster was sitting on her shoulder, she didn't hesitate. She reached out, she connected with help. Because again, nobody's expecting you to understand this journey on your own. This is why you don't just get thrown into college and they just say, okay, we'll see you in 4 years, see you in 3 years, see you in 2 years. It's you have an academic advisor, you have an admissions advisor, you have a financial aid advisor. These advisors change as you progress through your degree. We want to make sure that you have that support. We make sure that you have tutoring support. We make sure you have access to your professors. We make sure that you have access to these workshops because we want to take as many hurdles away from you as possible so you can be equally as successful as Vernessa. I'm going to be honest, we're a little selfish here at Post. There is one of my favorite graduation videos, and I believe it's from 2023, 2022, somewhere around there. One of the deans speaks on how Post University strives to have their students aim to change one life a day if possible. And Vernessa, the fact that you said that, I nearly cried. I was like, oh, girl clearly watched this video. That is what Post University stands for. We're not trying to make the most successful students so they can pay back to Post. No, we want to make the most successful students who can leave Post and confidently say, I achieved my goal. I am on the path to achieving my goal, and this is just one more check that I got off to get me closer there. That's what we're looking for. We are looking for you to strive. We cannot support that if we don't know what's going on. If we don't know that there is a small hurdle that's stopping you. We can't know if you need just, hey, I just need this pep talk. I need support. I need full on communication with my professor. I don't care where you land on the spectrum. We cannot help you unless we know. I'm going to drop really quickly again everything you need to be generally successful. So if you ever need anything in class, of course, by all means, connect with anything in this bubble of this paragraph of information I said. But I want to end on an extra high. This was the 2025's graduation from last year, so this past May. I work graduations. I love graduations. They are the best time of year. I saw my wonderful, wonderful student, Cynthia Lawson, in here. She knows, I know, if you've been to financial aids workshops, you know, us Post staff, from myself, a lowly academic advisor, to directors, financial aid directors, academic directors, all of your deans and your program chairs, and everybody, it doesn't matter the level, the president of the university. We want to scream and lose our voices, freaking out that you have done it. You have hit your goal, and now we get to celebrate you. So this is last year's, and I hope that we get to continue seeing each and every one of you as your graduation date slowly approaches. So if it allows me, I will try and play this. I want to make sure. Let me get some thumbs ups if you can hear it. If not, I will switch over to YouTube. Give me one second. Oh, Okay. And again, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. If not, I literally have it on YouTube as well, so I can just switch over pages. Okay. Excellent. Or anything. I just work here. Don't mind me. That is not mine. I just get to have clap. Really very good clap. Um, things about Vernessa just got a wonderful shout out being a part of this video because this is day about those who can drop the link chat. Such an important. And again, when we have our next graduation, I'll drop the new one. I love this day. Either again, there's college is not for everybody. But as simple as
Beth, your mic cut out.
Yeah.
it helps if my mic is next to my face and not in
There
my
you
hair.
go.
Okay. What you are trying to achieve, what you are currently in the process of achieving, is not something that everybody can do. Not everybody wants to do, not everybody has the ability to, and the fact that you are taking the steps to do so matters so much, means so much. It is not inconsequential. This is, again, I apologize that I'm a broken record at this time. This is such a prevalent point in your journey that will continue to make your journey and your goal possible. Vernessa is a beautiful example of that. Again, she understands this was part one, she's in part two, and she understands what her goals are now. And however she gets to help people, she understands that's the end goal. She's developed that. She's conceptualized that and she's moving forward. If any of you in this meeting currently are in the mindset of I want this degree, but you're not 100% sure what you're getting this degree for, I just want to encourage everybody, sit down with yourself. Take tonight, take this weekend, and really conceptualize what getting this degree means to you, how this impacts you, how this impacts your family, how this impacts the trajectory of your life. Because hopefully, just like it did Vernessa, just like getting myself my degree, just like Nicole, um, it has impacted our lives for the better. And I really do hope everybody can conceptualize why they're doing this. I was a psych major. I became an academic advisor, and I feel like I benefit students' lives every day, hopefully. Hopefully, I'm doing my job well. Vernessa, I am in the same exact path as you. I understood that my degree allowed me to help people in a way that I didn't fully understand when I originally was taking my journey. But by the end, I understood this is what I was meant to do. I hope that everybody gets to a place where they understand your degree doesn't just help you, it helps other people, whether it just be your family, whether it be the greater good, whether it be your community. I don't care what it is, you are impacting someone. You're impacting something. You're doing something with this journey. So I really hope that if you don't have a more concrete idea, you take this moment to think about it. But otherwise, I am going to drop it over to Nicole. If Nicole, you would like to hop off mute and just ask any questions that have been dropped in the chat for Nessa, this one is going to be all you and Nicole. So I'm going to let y'all do your thing. And then I will come back right at the end just to go over upcoming workshops for this weekend and next week.
Yeah, so we do have some follow-up questions. First one, how has networking and being involved in extracurricular activities enhanced your passion in making a difference for your peers or even yourself?
So, one major thing when I was in my undergrad is that I was pretty involved in the honors community and the honors program at Post because I did 12 honor classes, as well as was in many of their events and different things that they had. And it has helped me because I've met some amazing people. I've Besides Post giving me my degrees, Post gave me my best friend. I met my best friend in the honors program right here at Post. So that's just one particular person. Shout out to you, Sammy. But besides that, networking, I've met people of different walks of life. I've connected with people that shared various life stories that maybe I didn't even think about that existed. And these people helped me to be more confident in myself, improve my speaking, um, be more aware of various topics that exist in the world. And I've even gotten to know them even on a personal level where we've become friends, shared ideas, and even just expanded and grown as a person individually and collectively. So that's how networking helped so far.
Thank you. That was a fabulous answer. Next question. What are some of your favorite memories from your time as an undergrad at Post?
Oh wow. This one's a hard question. Some of my favorite memories would be attending the various honor events, things such as like the book clubs that we would have. Those were some very much engaging conversations. The dinners, the virtual dinners that we would have was really interesting. I like to eat, so it was nice to eat all the different types of cuisines. I've also enjoyed having the opportunity to do dinner with the dean. That was really a really big deal because I didn't think I would have like got selected, and when I did, it was really shocking to myself, and that was really it was really nice because like I've gotten to know the dean on such a like an intimate personal level rather than just like the academic part of it. So those are some of my fond memories. Amongst others, there are quite a bit.
And attending commencement, right? We can't leave that one out.
Yeah, attending commencement because fun fact, spoiler alert, I never set the intention that I would be valedictorian. Like that was when I joined POS, I never like set out like people set out their goals of what they want. My goal was simple. I just wanted my college degree and that was it. I never thought that I would blow up so much as a person to even have that opportunity to be so involved like in like even make a honors program, be involved so much with the honors program, be an honors ambassador, all these various things, and then actually get selected in that pool to be for the valedictorian selection process. I remember seeing that email and I was spellbound. I didn't even know what to say. Like I was like, am I reading this correctly that I was selected in this pool? I was like, nah, it can't be me. I didn't really expect that, honestly. So I didn't set the valedictorian as a goal. It just came along.
Well, you definitely earned it and very deserving of the title, Vernessa. Um, what advice would you give yourself as you entered your senior year, seeing how successful you had been up to that point? How do you keep yourself going through that last year? We always hear from students that last year is the worst because you're so close to the finish line, but you just want to run to it.
There were times that it felt like I wanted to rip out all this hair from my head. Some of the classes were really difficult, but I kept the end goal in mind, which is I want that degree. I reached so far and I just had like a few more credits. I'm like, I need this degree. I'm not going to say that I spent 3.5 years and I just have half a year again to go to finish this degree. Like that was my motivation. So I would my senior self, I would tell her to just keep going, even though when it feels hard, pause, recompose, and go again. That's what I would do. Would tell her.
Absolutely. I definitely second that. And our last question for you as we close out this evening is what does the future hold for you, my dear?
Well, I will finish my master's in 2027. Hopefully by then, maybe post may have a PhD program, maybe a little more PhD programs rolled out, that one that maybe in my field or similar to my field. But I do want to get my PhD at some point, but after my master's, I would be entering the workforce and fully and getting a federal job because I want to work for a federal agency, the federal government. So by then I'll see what job vacancies are open in 27, 28 around there.
I love that. Such a motivation, such an inspiration to our students. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, Vernessa. And
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
oh my gosh, absolutely. And I thank all of you for spending your Friday evening with us. And I hope that, those words really stick with you. This journey is never an easy one for anyone. I mean, go out and find me someone in higher education who said this was like easy peasy. You're not gonna find it. But as Vernessa said, make sure that you keep going and keep motivating yourself. And what we preach to our students is know we're here. You have such an amazing support system at Post, from your financial aid advisors to your academic advisors to the Center for Academic Success. In addition to myself, the students know they can email me with questions. We are all here for you, with the same common goal in mind, and that is to get you guys to the finish line. We want to see you be successful. And getting there, the best thing you can do is have goals. Set those goals for yourself. I love that you already know you want that PhD. I love that you know what you want to do in the workforce. Having an end goal in sight really helps keep your motivation up, you guys. So just keep that in mind as well. Beth, I'll pass it back to you. You want to promo our upcoming workshops?
I absolutely do. But before I do, anyone who's ever been in a student empowerment workshop with me, and again, those who are a little bit newer to workshops over the summer, I'm sorry, I've been a little MIA. You will see me moving forward. But that being said, I do just want to remind everybody, because this was something we discussed. Every student has taken CTC 101. Very few students get to pass CTC 101. So everybody should remember SMART goals, SMART goals. And if you don't remember, please Google them for me, because Vernessa is a wonderful example of setting these achievable, time-bound, appropriate goals to make sure you're never dissuading yourself from the achievements you can make. So make sure when we're setting these goals, we're setting SMART goals. And again, that's not like saying like smart, but that's SMART goals. Look those up. But as a reminder, everybody learned about those during CTC 101. So hopefully I'm brushing some cobwebs off your brain and reminding you that we want to be continually creating these small goals so we can feel good about the effort that we're putting in. Because as Nicole said, she's 100% correct. Nobody, and I would like to meet the person. If so, I would love to shake their hand. Nobody thinks college is easy. If they do, they're lying to you. It is a different game plan altogether. High school teaches you one thing, college teaches you another. So just as a reminder, be proud of the work that you're putting in. Remind yourself SMART goals, reasonable goals, appropriate small chunks to get to that finish line. That's what we're looking for. And I will move to our promos for this upcoming week. So just as a reminder, tomorrow, Saturday, anybody who is interested in an afternoon workshop, we will be going over advanced academic writing. Any of those in English 110 especially, I really want to encourage you. As a reminder, for those in that class, you do have an essay due on Sunday of next week. So it is wonderful in terms of just kind of getting yourself put together for that final essay. Otherwise, if your class does have a final essay, wonderful workshop, just a great reminder of how you should be setting up your essays and also going over paraphrasing. And then for our upcoming week, starting on Monday, we do have financial aid at 7 p.m. If I'm not mistaken, this may or may not be with Mary Yatko, our financial aid director, as long as she's available. Otherwise, there may be a recording of her. But this is just to make sure that students understand what the general expectation is for when you're doing the FAFSA, what you've signed up for. We want to make sure that nothing is coming of a surprise, that as you progress through your degree, you understand what you are doing each time you do your FAFSA and what the expectations are when you graduate. So again, those are our two workshops coming up tomorrow, 1 p.m., Monday at 7 p.m. And I hope to see everybody there. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their weekend. Okay, beautiful. Well, then I am going to take this opportunity to wrap up. I do see a hand. I am going to say, if you want to ask a question, please feel free to drop it in the chat. I will hang on for the next 10 minutes and get it answered. But otherwise, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day or their evening. And I'm so glad I get to give 10 minutes back. I never get to give time back. So this is brilliant. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. And again, anybody who has extra questions, feel free to drop them in chat. All right, Vernessa, I feel like you're good to go, but I happen to be seeing two of my ladies on, so I am going to just quickly unmute. Okay, I'm going to unmute very quickly, but I do want to remind that this is on a recorded line. You have a question for Vernessa? Okay, I will keep on very quick, Vernessa, if you're cool with answering Teresa's and Cynthia's questions really quick. Cynthia, excuse me. I'm going to go first with you. I'm going to allow your mic. There you go, hon.
I was telling you to go ahead and let Teresa go first.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even read that message. Okay, Teresa, I'm gonna unmute your mic. Let me go. Allow mic. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think this is pretty much a general question. Either one of you can answer, but there was a question in the chat I thought was important. Somebody asked, how do you find the support that you're showing or offering?
I will drop that in the chat right now as well. I'll like send that as an everybody thing. Just as a friendly reminder, when it comes to generally looking for information of what resources you have availability to, the academic advising line is the first resource, whether it be your direct advisor or anybody else. That is the best person to get in contact with. They will get you connected with the CAS center, with any extra support that you may need either through SOAR, the counseling center, things like that, because we respect some things may not be tutoring related, they may be outside related, outside of school related. So hurdles can look like anything. So thank you, Teresa, for pointing that out. I will make a general just blast in the chat to make sure everybody gets that if they don't make it to the end of this recording hearing me answer. So thank you for pointing that out. And then Cynthia, you are also unmuted, so you should be good to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Vernessa, what inspired you to actually go for law school?
I am not in law school. I am doing my master's right here at Post, my master's in public administration.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that degree instead of like something like teaching or cybersecurity or something other, within a whole different
Because I'm a
field?
criminal justice major. Because the career that I want is to be a policy analyst, and one of the requirements of that degree, of that job, sorry, is to get an MPA degree. At least that would allow me to get an entry level job into like any federal agency to start climbing the ladder of being a policy analyst. So that's why. But I decided to do it right after my bachelor's because I thought that if I stop and take a break between my bachelor's and my master's, that I would get a little rusty and maybe not want to continue. So I'm like, I'm already in the rhythm and schedule. I just, right as I graduated the last term of my bachelor's, I finished the end of June. Yes, so I started my master's right in June. So been continuously in school.